All right, well, good evening, everybody. We're going to call this special meeting of the City Council to order. It is Tuesday, August 21st, 2018, a little bit after 5. So as a reminder, if you would like to speak before the council tonight, please complete a blue speaker request form, which can be found somewhere. Right, Stephen?
Yes,
Somewhere.
I asked that.
So at this time, we're going to do roll call. Mr. Aguilar.
Councilmember Plott?
Here.
Councilmember Tesari?
Here.
Councilmember Rush?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Rigby?
Here.
Mayor Lorrimore?
Here. All right, this evening, we are gonna be doing our Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is right over there. Mr. Rush, if you could
Sure.
please lead us in that.
Please rise, join me in the salute to our flag. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, we don't have a pastor here tonight.
I volunteer to talk.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually, you up for it?
Sure.
All right, Mr. Rigby, if you could please lead us in our vacation.
Our dear Father in heaven, we are grateful for this opportunity we have to meet together and to meet as a city council and to discuss the needs of our city. We are grateful for our great city, for those that serve and those that work here, and for our residents and for all the input that we receive. Father, we ask that thou will bless us this evening, that we may have thy guidance to discuss those things that we need to, and that we may be led to make the decisions that are best for our city. We ask that thou will bless our residents to know of our desire to work hard and to carry out those things that are best for our city. We ask for these things and do so in the name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Okay, excellent. We are at our public comment portion of the agenda. So anybody wishing to speak, please address items within the council's subject matter jurisdiction, but which are not listed on the agenda during public comments. However, no action may be taken on matters that are not part of the posted agenda. We request that comments made on the agenda be made at the time that the item is considered, and that comments be limited to 3 minutes per person. Please address your comments to the council as a whole, and do not engage in dialogue with individual council members, city staff, or members of the audience. Mr. Aguilar, I see you have a piece of blue paper.
Yes, we have one public comment card from Ray Hernandez.
Excellent. Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Well, it caught my eye that we're here for the purpose of appointment versus election. Quite frankly, I've never seen this before. Typically, where I've been involved with appointments is if somebody died, somebody got in the cookie jar, somebody resigned, and it seems to be all appropriate. It's not election year. So I found this to be quite unusual. Now, I've done some research here on the website. I do understand that probably the purpose is to save money, basically $15,000 or maybe more. But this is a general election, and this has been budgeted, okay? You know, so personally, I don't feel that's an appropriate reason to appoint somebody. But let me continue.
Please do.
So tonight we're here appointing a standing council member in lieu of the November general election. Why? Because he's running uncontested. Obviously, if there's somebody else running, we wouldn't be here. It seems to me Mr. Todd Rigby should be elected by the people, not appointed by the council. The danger of appointment is setting future presidents that this city appoints its council members, not elects them. I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. It resembles a rigged election, okay? In terms of denying a write-in last minute, because if it is decided that Todd over here is appointed, then Stephen over here will not allow anybody last minute to have a write-in. Okay, so that eliminates it, that cleans it, that decides it, okay? The other thing is, if he is appointed, does he forego the candidate forum questions and what he stands for city issues at the candidate forum meeting. And again, that's assuming if the residents are allowed to ask any questions. So I asked that question. With that said, Mr. Todd Rigby deserves the right to be elected. He's earned it by the people, not appointed. And we, I speak of myself as a resident and a voter, a registered voter, I want an elected council member in a general election, unless there's unusual circumstances. And this is all based on saving $15,000. That's the purpose, because I don't know what else is. I also question that on District 4, there are 2 candidates running. If there was only one, would that person be here to be appointed? So, election, not appointment, is appropriate in my view. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, for your comments.
I'll fill out a blue form, Mr. Chairman. I hold office under appointment in lieu of election. I was appointed by the County Board of Supervisors to my position. Don't even know what it is, but if you look at what is published almost every day up through the primary and the extension period through Wednesday the 10th, you'll find on the candidate proof list that the Register of Voters puts out that wherever there is an office for which there are too few or only an equal number to the positions to be filled, they are not on the ballot countywide. So it's not unusual. It's quite customary to make the ballot shorter. When we have ballots that have 25 or 30 candidates for U.S. Senate or governor or whatever, the Registrar of Voters Office under the Elections Code in California simply does not hold an election for a position for which there are too few or an equal number of positions to be filled. It's not unusual. It happens all the time, and I get this list well up through the extension period, the 5-day extension period. I used to get this list every day, so it's
You're looking at
customary.
me, and I know we're not
No,
supposed to be in dialogue, but
No.
is this unusual for a city to do this? You talked about a large
Well,
county.
I've had my
We'll
say.
have the
All right.
conversation, but if you could continue this way, just. Have you
Yeah, I'm through. I just wanted to point out it's not unusual.
No, I appreciate the comments, appreciate both of your comments.
Yes,
Thank you.
that.
Do any other members of the public wishing to speak at this time? Up for it? No? Okay, all right. Okay, that concludes our public comments. We are now at the city council business. That's item 4.1. So 4.1 is discussion to appoint or hold a general municipal election in District 1. This is submitted by Mr. Aguilar. Mr. Aguilar, would you like to walk us through this?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I
Yes.
am going to recuse myself from this item.
I don't see why. No, I'm kidding. Of course. That's weird. Thank you, sir.
You would vote for yourself.
Yes, Mr. Aguilar.
Sure, thank you. Good evening, Mayor Lumore, council members. The item before you tonight is to consider the option to either appoint or continue with the election in District 1. Just to give you a quick recap of the election process thus far, the nomination period opened on Monday, July 16th and closed on Friday, August 10th at 12 p.m. Upon closing of that nomination period, only one candidate qualified to be placed on the ballot in District 1, and that person nominated was Mayor Pro Tem Todd Rigby. The council has the option to make a decision the 75th day before the election, which falls this Thursday on the 23rd. And the council has 3 options per California Elections Code section 10229. Those 3 options are to either appoint to the office the person who was nominated, appoint to the office any eligible voter if no one has been nominated, or hold the election if either no one or only one person has been nominated. Seeing that this election in November, there will only be one candidate in District 1, as Mr. Hernandez mentioned, the city would incur costs of approximately $15,000 to $25,000. And those are considered cost savings if we decide to cancel the election in District 1. So the appointment tonight must be approved by a majority vote of the council, and a motion to make the appointment may be initiated and seconded by any council member. So also the person appointed, which would be Mayor Pro Tem Todd Rigby, should he qualify and take office, he'll serve exactly as if he was elected at the election in November. Staff recommends that the council appoint Mayor Pro Tem Todd Rigby as the council member representing District 1 and direct the clerk to administer the oath of office upon appointment. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Excellent, sir. Thank you. Do we have any questions? Let's start. Yes, Mr. Rush.
I have a question. Just out of curiosity, I think it was.
Oh, hold on, I'm sorry. I want to make sure. Do we have any comments, public comments on this item?
We've received none.
Okay. Is this, would you like to?
Yeah, it slid across the
Yeah,
table.
okay.
It's for the clerk's
So,
office.
but this is for, you would
For
like to speak
4.1.
now?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm through, yeah.
Oh, so that was for public comment?
Yeah.
You don't want to speak on this item now?
I've said enough.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. So,
Thank you.
hearing no public comments, right? Moving forward, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, it's yeah. I just had a curiosity question. It was raised by Mr. Hernandez. In District 4, if there was only one person that qualified, not the incumbent, would the situation be the same?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if it's the incumbent or not, it just
Correct.
matters in the number?
Correct.
Okay. And then in regards to the costs, because it is a consolidated general election, why would there be any cost savings?
Because we would be canceling the election in District 1, so there will not be an Eastville council member on the ballot this year for District 1. So although there will be statewide seats and propositions and measures in that specific area, the county observes that cost. And the reason why we are consolidating with the county is specifically for our election. So that cost between 15 and 25 would be saved.
So have we broken out, because that's the first time I've heard about, this is the second time we've done the district elections. Do we break out approximately what it's gonna cost by district?
Correct.
So is it theoretically gonna cost more in District 3 because there's more people running?
No, so the registrar provided us a quote for each district, and it was between 15 and 25 for each district. And that's based on number of registered voters.
Oh, okay. All right, I have no further questions.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion?
No, I appreciate Mr. Hernandez's comments regarding, the appointment process and what the perception might be, but just to clarify, Mayor Pro Tem Rigby was elected, duly elected by the voters in his district. Now, this would be for re-election, and since nobody in his district decided to challenge him, I felt that it seemed appropriate to, go ahead and just appoint him and save the costs. So that was my feeling upon reading the agenda.
Yeah. Okay, good, Mr. Rush.
Stephen, can you walk us through why Mayor Pro Tem has only served a 2-year term? Kind of a little history on that?
Sure. So he was elected in 2016. It was a special election, and that was because prior to him being appointed by the council, former council member Bill Link resigned from the council, and he was elected to a 4-year term. And so because when he was appointed, I believe it was Councilmember Simmons who was appointed to fill his seat while he resigned, and the election occurred in November of 2016, which was a 2-year term, and it was only for a 2-year term.
And the
And
normal
so-
term absent any special circumstances is 4 years.
Correct. So this year, because it was only a 2-year term, Mayor Pro Tem Rigby is required to run again for a full term of 4 years.
Bart, did you want to come in? No further questions.
All right. I'll speak briefly. I appreciate people, the residents have come out today to share in everybody's time. I think some of the points that have been raised, he was filling out a term 2 years, he was elected for those 2 years, to fill out that term, but that is not the traditional. It would have gone for 4 in a normal circumstance, and we are not there. The fact that we are doing better as a city, we are economically. That being said, even though the money is budgeted, it's still $25,000, $15,000. And the reality is even if somebody were to, it's not saying it's not possible, but even if somebody were to do a write-in campaign, which has been done, but it's very, very difficult to do. And so, given that there are cost savings associated with this and that everybody, I will ask actually for clarification, how many times was this noticed that you, for this district election?
Sure, so we had to notice a notice of election, and that was circulated in the press enterprise, as well as the city's social media platforms, the weekly newsletter on the city's website. We also noticed a notice of insufficient nominees, which was published last Wednesday, August 15th. And so by election code law, we are only required to notice this twice. And so, but it was noticed all over the city's platforms.
Yeah, all the social media.
Mhm.
And has the city received any comments, questions, concerns?
There have been no comments received.
No questions on how to file as a write-in?
There was a question to file on a write-in, but in District 4.
That was me, by the way.
Okay, all right, so do we have any further comments, questions at this time?
I would like to make a motion for staff's recommendation.
Okay,
Second?
we have a first and we have a second. Mr. Aguilar, roll
Okay.
call please.
Councilmember Plott,
Yes.
Councilmember Rush,
Aye.
Councilmember Tesari.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Rigby has abstained from this item and recused himself, and Mayor Longmore.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Excellent.
You can come back in now, Todd.
The newly elected official then? He's got to deal with that.
Yes.
He's not gonna play.
Yeah, he is. Is he outside?
Mr. Mayor?
I do have
Yes,
one
sir.
question.
Yes, sir.
If this was still at large, would this be happening? No.
No, because
We'd have enough
we have
candidates.
plenty of candidates.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, just so you know, it was voted, well, could you report out those two?
Sure. So the motion that was taken tonight was to appoint Mayor Pro Tem Todd Rigby, can't speak, to fill the 4th-year term in District 1.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so at this time, I think we're gonna do an administration of the oath of office, sir. That's good. Everybody got your cameras ready?
I could have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Todd Rigby,
Do solemnly swear to support and defend
do solemnly swear to support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
from all enemies, foreign and domestic.
from all enemies, foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California,
That I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion,
And that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a trivia question. Who's the first person after the oath is administered that the person shakes their hand? It's the city clerk.
I always make sure.
Okay.
Well, is that like getting the bouquet or something?
Yes.
All right, so, we also have a closed session item. Do we wanna take,
We can take a, do you need to go?
okay.
Do you wanna take a
Thank you,
picture?
appreciate it.
Dot, congratulations.
Thank
You
you.
need to take your campaign signs down now.
Take care.